Greetings, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer, formerly of No Longer Quivering on Pathos for 10 years, now just doing my own thing. I was not going to make any kind of a video today. I have experienced the dance of the sugar plum scammers this weekend where I had like 20 or 30 of them bombing me at once, and I ended up just blocking them all. It got to the point where it was overwhelming. But what I wanted to talk about today is something I saw a news article and it got me started thinking about Quiverfull and politics. One thing that I remember from my old fundamentalist days in the Quiverfull church is that we were told that we would retake politics. We would retake the nation and completely reshape it. Hey, Nitwit. Hey, Jane. That we would reshape it completely. Now, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, I see that we would have reshaped it to look like the world of Hulu's The Handmaid's Tale. I'm afraid that's how it would have been. And you just have to look at the Quiverfull people today, some of them that have run repeatedly for office. I'm looking at you, Jim Bob Duggar. I'm looking at you, Jim Holt, who was a Baptist minister before you turned Politico. That is one of the things that's actually preached right from the pulpit in Quiverfull churches. It is promised that you will retake society by retaking politics. You'll retake society by retaking Hollywood, filmmaking, publishing, every sphere. I remember one time being at a Toronto Airport Christian Fellowship conference where Duncan spoke. I can't remember Duncan's last name, but I remember Duncan, his blonde hair and his Australian accent, was it? It was Australian or English, carrying on about us being takers of high places. Loosing the prophecy, we would be takers of high places. We would take over politics. We would take over everything and establish our own moral code. That was preached hard. And a lot of us believed it. I believed it for a time, even though looking back, I'm like, duh, why did I believe that? So anyway, this morning, I got up this morning and there was a big article about a fundamentalist on the edges. Well, he's a Quiverfull on the edges of the whole Quiverfull public evangelical worship thing that they do with the Duggars. This guy's name is, I'm pulling up the article right now, Curtis Bowers. Curtis Bowers has a blog. He has a podcast. He has a bunch of stuff. He's got a pile of kids like the Duggars. They have a ton of. Yes, it does, Gene. It sounds very much like what Atwood came up with. Curtis Bowers, he has the whole 9 yards. He's got the beautiful kids and wife, and they're all dressed alike, and he's got some married off and some not married off. He's not as famous as the Duggars. He's up in Idaho, I think it is, doing his thing. And one of the things that he preaches is about retaking politics, retaking the country using politics. And here's where this gets interesting. Apparently this week he was interviewed by the Eagle Forum of Alabama. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with what the Eagle Forum is, it's actually like a political action committee started by Phylis Schafly. Phylis Schafly became famous in the 1970s and was the subject of a series last year called Mrs. America. Schafly, she was a very highly educated, intelligent woman. I believe that she had like a master's in nuclear science or something like that. But anyway, she had postgrad degrees, very intelligent, very smart, a Republican lady. She tried to join the Republican Party as a powerful mover and shaker. She wanted to be on the nuclear and SALT talks. She wanted to be part of that. She wanted to be part of legitimate, serious things that she had the legitimate, serious education to actually talk about. What happened was the Republican Party, because remember, this is the 1970s when Republicans would not let women do anything. And it wasn't that long ago that women weren't allowed to have credit cards or bank accounts in their own name, much less anything else. So this came out of that. So Phylis was trying to climb the ranks. She was running for this. Nobody would let her. She was a wealthy woman. But here's what the Republican Party assigned her to do: to oppose the Equal Rights Amendment, which was ironic because she had already at that point been running her own grassroots political action committee for Republicans, using women as her workers. She was a wealthy woman. She never cleaned a toilet or wiped a runny nose on a child. She had staff to do that. So she was living like a privileged woman, like the Republicans like to have this boogeyman of monstrous liberal woman. That's how she lived. So somehow they sold her the bill of goods that she should oppose the Equal Rights Amendment. So she started opposing that, even though she herself was benefiting. Hey, Cheryl, I'm buffering. I hate that. This is a song that gets on everybody's nerves, especially mine. So back to Schafly. I'm just going to keep talking. What gets up, what doesn't get up. Schafly was this wealthy woman, this wealthy Republican woman. They convinced her, they conned her into opposing the Equal Rights Amendment, and that is how she found her fame. She started the Eagle Forum. And is this going to let me come back or not? Am I buffering? Oh, you're fine. Okay, good, Jane. Anyway, that's how she found her fame, and that was what she wanted, was fame in the Republican Party more than anything else. She started the Eagle Forum to oppose the Equal Rights Amendment that the basis of that was equal pay, equal work. This seems to me like a no-brainer. So she made that her brand. That was her brand. Alabama is in order to someone, which, like I said, was disingenuously put to each. So this guy, this is going to say, until they fell in denier people I like. Now I'm buffering. This doesn't go through.